Hey everybody, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a simple form with Gravity Forms. Now, Gravity Forms is a premium plugin for WordPress that allows you to create flexible, powerful forms. I love it. It's my favorite form builder because it is simple enough to get up and running quickly, but it is powerful enough to be developer friendly, and it has tons of different integrations. So this video is actually going to kick off a small series where I show you how to make a few different types of forms with Gravity Forms, and we're going to start at the beginning with just a basic contact form. So you'll see I've got a WordPress site here. I'm using a Genesis theme called Monochrome, which is very nice. I can link that in the description below if you'd like to check that out. But we're going to go over to the dashboard. So from the dashboard, you can see I already have Gravity Forms enabled. Gravity Forms is a premium plugin, so you'll have to go over to gravityforms.com and purchase a license. You'll get the download, and then you can upload it here in the WordPress dashboard. I will also link to Gravity Forms in the description below. But just to show you what that process looks like, you would click Plugin, Add New, and then click Upload Plugin, and you would upload the zip file that Gravity Forms provides you here. The plugin would get enabled, and then we have an area where we can create forms. There are also a few settings I just want to touch on really quick. Here's where you add your license. You can choose to output CSS and HTML5. I strongly recommend that you output the CSS because there are a few styles that Gravity Forms can add to do things like a half or 50% width field and a 100% width field and things like that. So outputting the CSS would be good here. I'm also going to output HTML5. At this point, every major browser supports HTML5, and there are some nifty form features in HTML5. Everything else we will keep the same. So let's get to it. I'm going to click New Form. We'll call this form Get in Touch, and we'll save it. And so we are presented with a little bit of a primer here if we do not have any fields on the form. So it's going to tell us to start over here. Over here, we've got 4 different categories for our form: standard fields, advanced fields, post fields, and pricing. In a later video, we're going to touch on the post fields. We'll add a front end post submission form. For now, we're only going to be working with the standard and advanced fields. And we're actually going to start with an advanced field. So we're going to create a basic contact form, which means we want name, email, and message. Those are the things that we want. We're also going to throw a CAPTCHA field on there just to make sure that a robot is not filling out our form. So I'm going to click name first, and it's going to add the name field here. You'll see that we've got first and last name included in the name field. If we click on the field, we'll see some options, right? So we have the field name. We can choose to display, first and last, or first, middle, and last. We can make it required, and we can change the appearance. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to include only the first name. We really only need the first name, and if somebody wants to put in their full name, we can just do it here. So we'll say full name. And then, so we have a single field now for the user's full name, which is great. We don't need to change anything under appearance. We could choose to add a placeholder if we want. Again, we're working with the first name field, so we can add in a name here. And that'll just be the placeholder. And then we can add some default values if we want to pre-populate this form. We do not want to do that here, so we are just going to leave the rest of these the same, but now we have our name field. The next thing we're going to do is add an email field. So the email field is a specialty field because Gravity Forms will check to make sure it's a proper email address. It'll work with the HTML5 form, and then it'll do some checking on its own to make sure that a valid email address is being input. We can also choose to confirm the email address to make sure that the user didn't typo their email. I'm going to just leave that out. I like to keep my forms as lean and mean as possible. and we'll make this required as well. We need to know the email address in order for us to get back in touch with the person contacting us. And we have the appearance and advanced fields here. You'll notice that for the email field under appearance, we can choose a small, medium, or large field if we want. We'll keep this at medium. And then the last thing we'll add is a message box. So that'll be under the standard fields. We're going to add the paragraph text. So there's nothing special about this. This is just a basic text area. So we need to add everything that we want to it. We'll call this message. We can choose a maximum number of characters if we want. And we'll make this required too, because again, the user needs to put in a message so that we know why they are contacting us. And we have the same appearance and advanced settings here. So under advanced, we can actually also make this a rich text editor. So if we want the user to be able to format their input, they can. We are not going to do this here, but it will come in handy in future videos. So we have our 3 fields. So we're going to click update, and now we have our form. But we're not done. We want to make sure that our form is going to the right place, that the user is seeing the right messages, and everything like that. So we're going to click on settings or hover over settings, and we've got 3 different options here. We've got form settings, confirmations, and notifications. We're just going to walk through these and make sure everything is properly set. So I'm going to click on form settings first. Here we have the title and the description. We have some layout options where we want the label to be placed and things like that. You can choose to add or play with that as you want. You can also add a CSS class name. So if you want special stylings, special CSS applied to this form, you can do that. We can choose a text or image button for the submit button. Again, we'll just keep this as submit. And a few other restrictions and options here. We're going to leave all of these unchecked except for the anti-spam honeypot. So what the anti-spam honeypot does is it adds a field that is invisible to people. So this will be a hidden field that users can't see if they visit your website, which means that if it gets filled out, we know a robot filled it out, and therefore the form will not submit because it should have been left blank because a person can't see it. So that's the anti-spam honeypot. We will update the form settings there, and then we'll move on to confirmations. Confirmation is the message that the user gets after they fill the form out. So Gravity Forms has a basic message here. Thanks for contacting us. We will get in touch with you shortly. This could be formatted text. We can also make it a page. So if we have a thank you page with some more information, we can redirect the user to that page. Or we can straight up redirect them to a completely separate URL if we want. So again, a lot of options here for the confirmation. I'm going to keep this just as the regular message. If this was a contact form where maybe a support form, you could say we'll get back to you in 24 hours or something like that. So we'll save this confirmation. And then finally, we have the notifications. Notifications are the email notifications that we get when a form is filled out. So there is one by default, the admin notification. And what that will do is it will email us based on the settings here. So, and you see we've got some curly bracket text here. I'll walk through that quickly. So first, who are we going to send this to? We're going to send this to the admin email. You're going to want to make sure that under settings general, your email address is the admin email. If it's not, you can replace this text with whatever email address you want. The from name is going to be the sender, right? And we're collecting that information. So we can click this little icon here and we can choose first name for the from name. The same thing goes for from email. We're going to want to make sure that we're setting this to the user's email. We want to delete admin email from this. And the reason is that if we don't delete admin email from the from address, we are going to reply to ourselves, which we don't want to do. And then we have the ability to change the subject. So, new submission from form title. We might want to make this the name of our website just so it's a little bit more clear where it's coming from. A good subject is very important because we want to make sure that it's not flagged as spam or anything like that. So, new submission from casamona.org is good. And then here, this smart tag called all fields will just generate answers for all of the fields that were filled out in the form. If you want to customize this, there's the little drop down button here. And so you can choose to add whatever information you want, including some other collected data like the user's IP address and things like that, if it's available. So we're going to click update notification, and now we're good to go. The last thing that we need to do is embed this form on a page. So we're going to go to pages, add new. We'll make a new page called Get in Touch. And then we have a new button above the tiny MCE editor here, above the editor area, called Add Form. This was added by Gravity Forms. So we'll click Add Form. We'll choose the form we just created, Get in Touch, and we can choose to display the form title, the form description if we want, and enable Ajax. Enable Ajax means that the form will submit without the page refreshing. So the form will get submitted and then the message will be displayed, or the redirect will happen. I like enabling Ajax just because it's a little bit easier for the user. We're going to click Insert Form. A short code gets generated, and we'll click Publish. Now we can view this page, and we have a nice looking form. So we have the placeholder. I'll change this to John Smith. Email address, I'll actually use a real email address here. And then the message, hello. Now, I said that there was going to be another anti-spam field here, right? And that's the honeypot. Again, we can't see that. Only robots who are looking at the source code of the page will see that. So we'll click Submit. And now we have the message. We will get in touch with you shortly. Just to show you what that email looks like once it's submitted, it looks like this. We have the from email address, John Smith, with the email address I put in. I'm using Flywheel as my local environment, so it got sent to Flywheel. And then this is what the email body looks like. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to click the thumbs up button down below and subscribe to this channel for more great content. If you have any questions about Gravity Forms or there's a video you'd like to see, leave it in the comments below and I will do my very best to get to those comments in a timely manner. Thanks so much for watching.